So let's raise the talking point tonight. Hate crime in Pune. Is it time to act against religious fanatics? And joining me tonight to answer that question, people on all sides of that debate. Ijaz Ilmi, leader of the BJP, joining us here in our studio. Sudhindra Kulkarni, well-known political activist, columnist and author. Vinita Deshmukh, senior journalist and RTI activist. Rahul Narvekar, representing the NCP. Amir Raza Hussain, theatre director, Padma Shri awardee. Bharat Kumar Raut, representing the Shiv Sena. Welcome to all of you on the program. Vinita Deshmukh, let me just first begin with you. Since you're there in Pune, let me just get an idea from you. This perception which is being created, Vinita ji, that what has been happening in Pune is that for the last couple of weeks an attempt was being made to somehow try and create some communal tension in areas around Pune. Is this a correct perception, Vinita ji?
Yeah, I would like to just put this in the proper perspective. First of all, historically, Pune is a very peaceful city, and even during the Babri demolition, Pune scored high marks in peace. Against that background, time and again, Pune has had communal tolerance. Now, this very incident that has taken place is a very, very shameful, horrendous and condemnable incident for the city. And this is nothing to do with religious intolerance, but it has to do with non-governance by the law enforcing authorities. Now, this man of the Hindu Rashtra Sena, Mr. Desai, is here in Pune since the last 2 decades. In the early 2000s, he had desecrated religious places of all religions in Pune. He has attacked the ABP Madha offices and other television studios. On his Facebook recently, he put up a police notice which asked him to be careful in his language while addressing the audience. To that, he has replied on the Facebook saying that I have got so many such notices that if I sell these papers, I can earn 5,000 rupees. Now, this Facebook page had 55,000 likes from 2013, and then this whole Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Babasaheb Thackeray images were morphed. So what was the Pune police doing? Now, even when this incident happened, there were 3 DCPs to one joint police commissioner who held a peace meeting a few minutes ago, and after that you have this innocent Muslim youth being killed. So the point is that in the name of religious tolerance, the law enforcing authorities, the Maharashtra government wants to just push this incident under the carpet and have an endless debate and endless fanning of hate amongst the people.
Right.
So I feel the Pune police is directly responsible, and if it had its grassroots informers alive, we would not have seen this day.
Okay, you say the Pune police is directly responsible. Ijaz Ilmi, while the Pune police is directly responsible, let me just bring to your notice a comment which was made by your own newly elected MP from Pune, Anil Shirole. And look at what Mr. Shirole says. He says, just like Vinita ji is saying, the people of Pune want peace. What was posted on Facebook was sad. And then, Ijaz Ilmi, I want you to listen to this comment very, very closely. What does he go on to say? He says, this action was bound to have some repercussions. Now, an MP, a newly elected MP, saying that what has happened is bad, but this action is bound to have some repercussions. Let me also say, he then later goes on to qualify that statement and say that this murder is wrong. But should an MP be using this language? What is the point which is being made by the BJP then, sir?
No, I'm glad that Mr. Shirole has clarified his position, but coming back to what you were saying...
But clarification comes later.
No, he has clarified his position.
The mindset, how can you try and justify this?
Nobody can justify this.
How can you try and say that what has happened is something which is bound to have a repercussion, sir?
So everybody has condemned it, nobody can justify it, and the fact that this outfit which calls itself a Hindu Rashtra Manch, there's nothing nothing to be called Hindu about it, nothing to be called Rashtra about it. There's a bunch of bigoted murderers who need to be booked at the earliest, and I'm glad, I just hope the Pune police is doing its job and picks up the right people, because invariably people are picked up and the real culprits get away. It's very important, and I'm very glad that the Home Minister of this country, Mr. Rajnath Singh, has asked for a report, and the BJP intends to follow it up. And like there's zero tolerance for terror, there has to be zero tolerance to religious bigotry in this country.
I'm very glad that you're making these strong statements, Ijaz Ilmi, but let me take that to Rahul Narvekar. as someone who has seen both sides of the political divide because of your long association with the Shiv Sena, and now that you are in the NCP, Mr. Narvekar, why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult for the Pune police, for the NCP Congress combined, which has been in power in Maharashtra for 10 years, to crack down against an outfit whose activities are so well documented?
Well, Upen, I was on your channel last night and I told you about the ground realities in Maharashtra that prevailed after these pictures were portrayed on the social media. The entire state was under immense stress, immense tension all over the state in various districts. And the kind of work that Maharashtra police has done, they've done a fantastic job in keeping the state law and order under control. The situation could have been worse, the situation could have gone out of hand, and definitely the Maharashtra police have done pretty well to keep the situation under control.
Rahul, you heard the comment that was made by the friend. Did you hear the comment, Rahul, which was made by the relative of that poor boy who's died? Amin Sheikh, did you hear that story? Did you see that story? You know, I wish I could have played that comment again, because he says, I'm scared for my life in my own country. Now, that's the kind of comment which is coming, Rahul, and you're telling me that everything is calm, everything is peaceful.
See, Bhupen, let me tell you, the kind of situation that the state was facing a couple of days back was a serious situation, and I've told you in the background of that situation, the police have done pretty well to keep the situation under control. But that does not justify this death.
So what's the next step?
Gruesome killing,
what's the next step,
which is beyond the process of law.
What's the next step which the local authorities, local police, local political class needs to take, sir?
The Pune police has made certain arrests. Investigation is underway. You being a law-abiding citizen like me will appreciate that the law takes its course. There is a FIR filed, there is an investigation going on. I just heard one of your panelists from the Bharatiya Janata Party saying that we should make sure that some innocent people are not implicated in this matter. Therefore, there needs to be a thorough investigation. We need to get to the bottom of this and hold the culprits and pin them down. So let's follow the due process of law. Let's not jump the gun. It's not that the police are sitting cold. It's not that the Pune police has not done anything in this matter. They've done enough. They are proceeding, and let me assure you, in a short time, they will nab the culprits and take them to task.
Vinita Deshmukh, do you buy this sense of optimism which is being expressed here by Rahul Narvekar, that everything will be fine? What has happened is bad, but everything is going to be fine. Do you buy that optimism, Vinita ji?
Not at all. In fact, I'm absolutely saddened that the MP who I voted for actually has gone around and said that this is a natural reaction. I mean, there is nothing more tragic than that. And this, this cliche phrases of investigation will done, innocent should not be found. I mean, we are sick of hearing this. And like, that's why I'm telling you that the law enforcing authority is directly responsible. The state government, home ministry is directly responsible, and till today they have not even caught the leader of the Hindu Rashtra Sena, which is a fly-by-night criminal organization, and we do not want to hear anything. And like you said, this Muslim youth who said he's scared,
right.
Yeah, that is such a big serious thing. So we need action, and we need stern punishment, rigorous punishment within a very short time frame.
Rahul, that's the question which I was trying to raise before you, that it's all very well for you to say that the police has done its job, people have been arrested, and the masterminds will be arrested soon. My point is that the sense of fear which seems to be existing on the ground, how are you going to deal with that, Mr. Narvekar?
Bhupen, like I've told you earlier, you rather catch the right culprits rather than book some innocent people. I think that would be even more ghastly to punish someone who's not even guilty of a crime. So I don't know what Ms. Deshmukh is talking about. If she has a solution, overnight solution to this issue of investigation, I think she should help the police department by being a vigilant citizen.
No, you know what
but
my
from
reporters
what
were
I
telling me.
understand is police is doing their job.
Sir, you know what my reporters were telling me.
And if Ms. Deshmukh has an alternate to that, let us spell it out. Other than grandstanding on television and making bold allegations, you need to come out with a solution.
So
the police is following the law. They're doing their job.
No, you know, I'll tell you what I was picking up from the ground, and my reporters were telling
If they were
me.
doing the job, this incident would not have taken place.
No, Vinita ji, just a second. You know, I am getting to hear through our correspondents on the ground that contrary to what you're suggesting, Rahul Narvekar, the police is not very sure in terms of what to do in this case, because they seem to be under the impression that there is political patronage which is being provided to these individuals. Be that as it may, let me just bring Sudhindra Kulkarni in on this one. Sudhindra ji, are you not worried that one day we hear some story of a group of Kashmiri students being beaten up in Uttar Pradesh, being asked to prove their Indianness? On the other day, now you are seeing that this young Muslim is beaten to death in Pune because of some images which have been floated around. What's going on in the country? Would you say, Sudhindra ji, that the secular fabric of our country is experiencing a sense of tension, a sense of stress?
So the first thing I want to say is that the new government in Delhi should not take this incident in Pune lightly. It should not consider the killing of this innocent Muslim youth as a small incident, a stray incident. Because, let's face it, you know, after the enormous victory that the BJP has won, there is a fringe element. I'm not saying that the BJP is having this mentality,
right,
but there is a fringe element amongst the supporters who are today reveling in triumphalism. This triumphalism must end, because the new government, you know, if it wants to provide good governance and development, peace and harmony in society is an absolute must. And therefore, the leaders of the government at the very top, they must make some reassuring statements that, and this is there in the BJP's manifesto itself, that security for all and no section of society must feel fear.
Right.
If this is there in the manifesto, then it must be implemented, and even the smallest incident must be taken seriously. And as I said, the incident in Pune has the potential to, you know, to really become something very big. One hopes and prays that it doesn't happen, but the signals must be understood.
Right. You know,
The culprits, the Hindu Rashtra Sena, it's good that the police have apprehended them, but as Vinita ji said, what were the police, what were the security apparatus, what were the political parties in governance in Maharashtra, what were they doing when all these, you know, inflammatory statements were being made by the leaders of that fringe organization?
Therefore, I know that Ijaz Ilmi, you want to respond, but let me just put this a quick question to Amir Raza Hussain also, and then maybe you can respond to both these points, Mr. Ilmi. The troubling part, Amir Raza Hussain, that seems to be coming up because of this incident is that it's almost as if the ruling party, as Mr. Kulkarni was suggesting, the ruling party is only interested in talking about development. Whether it is Mr. Modi, whether it is the new ministers, the new MPs, everyone is only interested in talking about development. I was, for instance, Amirji, looking at a comment which was made by Sanjeev Balian, who just till the other day was an accused in Muzaffarnagar riots, now happens to be a union minister. When someone asked him, Mr. Balian, what are you going to do about ensuring that there is peace in the streets of Muzaffarnagar? His response was, listen, please don't talk to me about this secular communal conflict. I'm only interested in providing development. Is this model of development necessarily going through a process of communal stress in the country?
No, you see, there can be no development, there can be no industrial growth, there can be no provision of jobs unless there is peace, unless there is secular amity, unless there is a lack of tension between communities. The country cannot grow. I don't know how we cannot understand this simple fact, which I know Mr. Kulkarni understands so well, that this country cannot grow, it cannot reach the nadar it is supposed to reach unless we have peace, and unless we have peace amongst all communities, peace amongst all castes, peace amongst all religions. It is a basic necessity for growth. There can be no growth without it. So if we want to have growth, we need to have a corruption-free environment, we need to have communal environment which has no communal tension. This is a simple fact which all votaries of Mr. Modi need to understand.
But Mr. Hussain, where do you stand
And,
at the point being made by
think
Sudhir
we
Kulkarni
need to
there?
create this
The
base
point
of
being made
peace.
there by Sudhir Kulkarni was, Mr. Hussain, that there is a certain extremist element which exists in the country, and that there is a sense of triumphalism which is now being expressed by that extremist element. Now, the Prime Minister and the BJP may well be wanting to look the other way and may well be wanting to set the record straight as far as Indo-US relations are concerned, India-Pakistan relations are concerned. But do you get the sense, sir, that this is also a government which is in a position in which it can control that fringe extremist element?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One word from the top will make sure that your minister from Muzaffarnagar also ensures peace in his constituency before he ensures development. A word from the top will ensure that the fringe elements of any community, be it Hindu or Muslim, are taken to task very severely, and refrain from doing the kind of things which unfortunately happened 2 nights ago in Pune.
Right.
Now, but the message has to come from the Home Minister. It has to come from the Prime Minister.
But you see, there's a
it has
problem.
to come from the
Why
leader
do you
of
say
the
that
party.
the message has to come from
It
the
has
Home
to
Minister
come
and the
from
Prime
senior
Minister?
ministers.
The problem is that one of the BJP's key allies in Maharashtra, the Shiv Sena,
Yes.
frankly, also needs to be asked some questions. And Bharat Raut is there representing the Shiv Sena. Mr. Raut, it was your Shiv Senics who started off with this entire problem, didn't they? I mean, the stone pelting of buses, shops being down, by and large a sense being created that the Shiv Sena was angry. Now we have seen enough examples of what happens on the streets of Mumbai and parts of Maharashtra when the Shiv Senics get angry. Should you not be blamed, therefore, for creating an environment, Mr. Raut, where fear seems to be looming large on the streets of Pune and adjoining areas?
Bhupen, please hold on for a second. I think you are passing a judgment without knowing all facts.
Yeah, I'm
put
putting a
the
direct question. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So will you allow me to answer now
Please,
in
please,
detail, since
please.
you have made
Yeah.
this type of election? Yeah. There were some posts on the Facebook, and there was anger among people that was palpable, and some people came on streets. They demonstrated. There was some violence which ended in the murder of an innocent person. That is deplorable. That murder part is absolutely deplorable. I denounce it completely. Having said this, let me ask you, what makes you think that those who were agitating were Shiva Senics? What makes you think that a call was given by Shiva Sena, either by Uddhavji Thackeray or any other leader? There are 24 people who have been arrested. Is any of them, is Shakha Pramukh or Vibhag Pramukh or Neta or Upaneta? What makes you think that Shiva Sena is involved in the matter?
No,
Why call
I'm
it
not
a
saying,
mad dog
I'm
and
not
shoot?
saying, sir,
Why?
I'm not saying, I'm not saying that you're responsible for the murder. I'm not saying that you're responsible for the murder, but I'm questioning you.
Not murder.
No, Mr. Rao, don't shift the goalposts. Don't shift the goalposts, sir. I'm asking you a very simple question. I'm asking you the sequence of events before the murder. Who's responsible for that? I'm asking you, should you not be held responsible for creating an environment of animosity which may have led to this murder? I'm not saying that your party has done this, but I'm accusing you and questioning you whether you were responsible for creating this environment of hatred. That's my point to you, sir.
You are free to make any accusation. What I am saying, that whatever you allege should be based on facts when you are exposed to so many crores people who are the TV watchers.
Okay.
I am saying about the same thing, that you say that atmosphere.
No. Go ahead, Bharat Rao.
Created.
Yes.
Yeah, atmosphere created pre the murder. You say that Shiva Sena is to be held responsible. I am questioning that allegation. What makes you think that Shiva Sena was involved, either Shiva Sena leadership or Shiva Senics, were involved in it. That's what I'm asking you the question.
Okay, so
did
let
Uddhav
me-
Thackeray make the call? Did any other leader give the call?
Sir, you know,
If-
sir,
if
you know,
those who are
you really
arrested,
expect us to be so
are they
naive.
Shiva Sainiks?
You really expect us to be so
No,
naive,
are-
Bharatji, that you know that people come out in the streets, and that's why I was saying.
Bhupen,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Bhupen,
sir.
it is easier to sit there and make allegations without knowing the
No,
reality.
I'm not making any
I'm asking
allegation.
you the question.
Okay, let me put it to Rahul Narvekar. Rahul Narvekar is there.
Give me one name.
Hold on.
Give
You
me
made a
one
point.
name.
You made a valid point. There is Rahul Narvekar, who used to be with the Shiv
I'm
Sena.
asking question. I'm not.
I'm
asking you a question before going to
Rahul
name.
wants to respond.
You give me one name.
Yes.
You give me one name where Shiva Sena or Shiva Sainik is involved in it.
Okay, Rahul Narvekar, is Shiv Sena being simply the image of Shiv Sena being sullied here?
Otherwise, you withdraw your comment.
Am I wrong, Rahul Narvekar? Am I wrong when I say that the Shiv Sena should be charged of creating an environment?
Mr. Bharat Kumar Raut, who's a learned journalist, he knows the facts, but he chooses and prefers to ignore some facts. Some time back, I must remind Mr. Bharat Kumar Raut, where the personal assistant of Mr. Uddhavji Thackeray and a Shiv Sena legislator were booked by the Pune police for a conspiracy to burn down Pune Municipal Corporation buses and for planning a riot in the city of Pune based on an interception caught by the police, and they have been booked for that. So Mr. Raut, if you look back in history, Bhupen Chaubey today has enough reasons to ask you this question.
Therefore, Mr. Raut, that was precisely the point that I was making, that you really expect us to be so naive, sir.
Now let me answer. Now let me answer,
Yes,
Bhupen.
please.
Let
Yes,
me
sir.
answer.
Yes, sir.
What he is talking about is an incident which was, it is still in court, it is under investigation. I'm not leveling any value judgment on that. But it had nothing to do with religious sentiments. It was against mass agitation and police action. It has nothing to do with religion.
No,
I think Rahul Narvekar will accept
Chaubey
that.
today is talking about the violence that you are practicing.
No. He is talking about communal violence. I think the issue is communal violence and communal hatred
Sir,
and
you know what?
communal atmosphere.
You know what?
On the other hand,
Yes, Bharatji, I was only trying to make the point, sir, that there is a loss of a human life which has taken place in Pune. There was an action which was indulged in by people who were supposed to be Shiv Sainiks. That's what has come out officially from the police also. Now, I am not accusing you or your party of being involved in that murder directly. Hold on, Vinita ji, hold on. I just want to bring in MN Singh for a moment here. MN Singh, as you listen to these comments, sir, and as a former police officer, tell me how much of what is happening in and around Pune is actually a consequence of the Lok Sabha elections which have just gotten over, and the fact that Maharashtra Assembly elections are also just a few months away. What's the political background behind this, Mr. Singh?
Now, look, Bhupendra, I am not a politician, so I am not competent to comment on the political aspect of the incident. And I think if we give it a political turn, we will be missing the main issue. Okay. Let us not discuss this whole issue only from the political point of view. But I will comment on two statements made, one by Ms. Vinita Deshmukh, who said that Pune is a peaceful city. I think there is a need to have a proper assessment of the law and order situation and the growing unrest and seething discontent and criminality which is growing in the city. You see, Pune there has been so much of population explosion, migration of people from outside, lot of business activities, and a lot of villages have been added to the corporation limits of Pune. There is a lot of land grabbing and unauthorized construction of temples and mosques going on. Pune today is not what it used to be 15-20 years ago. Pune is no longer a peaceful city. Let me make it very clearly. Now, if you see what happened 10 months ago, Davolkar was murdered very brutally because he was a realist. Then you see the Pune city has witnessed two serious terrorist attacks in the past 2-3 years. A lot of people died. You also see that this Bhandarkar institution was vandalized. And now this particular incident of 2 days ago, there is a lot of radical elements growing in Pune city. There is a lot of intolerance growing in Pune city, and I think the government and the police of Pune must take note of this and must prepare themselves to face this problem.
But sir, that's what I was asking you. Who's to be held responsible?
I anticipate there will be more
sir,
problems.
but that's exactly my point. Mr. Singh, that was exactly the point I was raising.
Yeah, I will answer your question.
Yes, sir.
Now the next question is, I'm told that the newly elected member of parliament said something about the instigation and all that. Maybe he has not used the correct expression, but you see, this uploading of such messages on the Facebook was quite clearly very provocative. Now, who has done it is a matter which the police has to find out, whether Muslims did it or even Hindus. We have to find out the culprits and punish, and they are doing the job. Let us allow them time to do that job. Now, this was apparently quite provocative, but then that cannot justify the killing of an innocent Muslim who had nothing to do with it. And I understand that this is a group led by this somebody called Desai, who Bharat some Sena or something, some little outfit he has created, is a group of comprising just about 100-200 boys who have been indulging in all these kinds of things. I think they need to be properly brought into focus and need to be dealt with very sternly, and before it is too late, they must be completely decimated. And it is possible to do that if the government wants to do and if the police want to do.
No, but you see,
now,
this
the
is
third thing I would say,
yes,
what Mr. Rahul Narvekar said, paying a little compliment to the police should not be grudged by anything.
Sure.
Let me tell you that Pune just escaped by a whisker a very serious communal conflagration. The police acted quite promptly, no doubt about it, and police acted quite effectively and did not allow the situation to go out of hand. I think let us give a little compliment to that. But I would warn the police of Pune and the government of Maharashtra and the Home Ministry of Maharashtra that they must take note of the growing problems in the city of Pune if they want to prevent such incidents in future.
Okay, but the point that I was trying to raise was a point which was made by Vinita Deshmukh a short while back, where she was trying to argue that she doesn't have any faith in the kind of investigation which are taking place. Now, Mr. Singh, my correspondents on the ground are telling me that the problem is that while we know, all of us know, the police knows who is the real culprit, but they are worried that this real culprit, the mastermind, so to say, is enjoying political patronage. My point is, do you believe, as we are just a few months away from the next Maharashtra Assembly elections, do you not get the sense that maybe elements like this Hindu Rashtra Sena may ultimately end up mushrooming? Today it's Pune, tomorrow it could be somewhere else, if there is political patronage. So my point is there political patronage, sir, according to you?
Well, Bhupendra, you and I, everybody knows that politicians play their game, more so when the election is around the corner.
Right.
But I would not like to get into the political tutu-meme of this. But I'm sure that the Pune police will be able to do the job properly. Now, this only small group needs to be taken care of, and it has to be dealt with very promptly and very effectively.
Okay.
That's the only say. I think the police have done a good job,
right,
and we must pay them the due that is due to them. But Pune, I'm feeling a little uneasy that Pune is not a very peaceful city that it used to be a few years ago.
But it's not just about
Pune is now seething with
fair
lots of
enough.
problems.
You made a valid point. You made a valid point about the changing nature of the population of Pune. I think is a valid point, because it is true that in areas around Pune there has been a lot of influx of migrant population, people who've come from different states. Economic parameters of these individuals aren't necessarily very bright. My point is that you have a Prime Minister and a government which takes to social media very, very aggressively. Absolutely. Now, here's a story which starts from the social media because something comes up, some objectionable comment comes up on Facebook. Do you not think it would have been nice for the Prime Minister perhaps also just to tweet, as Sudhindra Kulkarni was saying, that the centre should not take this lightly? Now, I understand that the report has been taken, but what about the Prime Minister, the man at the top himself, sir? Or am I being too unfair when I ask the Prime Minister to intervene in this one?
No, that's your view. But the fact is the Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, has asked for a report. And very quickly, let me get back to what my friend Mr. Kulkarni was saying about reveling in triumphalism, and somebody else talked about the voters of Mr. Modi. Well, the BJP and the voters who elected the new government have nothing to do with this. This is a group of...
They are questioning your ability of reining in this extremist element. It may be a fringe element, but it exists on the ground.
It's an extremist, bigoted, lunatic fringe which is prevalent in every society, in every community, which needs to be taken out.
Can I expect these words that you're using? Can I expect these words to be used by the Home Minister of the country? Can I expect these words to be used, say, by the Prime Minister of the country?
He has his own choice of words. He will use them effectively. But my view is very clear as a BJP member that anybody who tries to disturb the peace, and this is, no, don't forget, this is very important. He's a techie. And it's the only, information technology and techies is the only place where the Indian Muslim citizens have 11% of employment share. So if the sense of fear is created, afraid they lose out on employment, and the government is incumbent to allay the fears. But largely, what Mr. M.N. Singh talked about Pune and the police role, what was Mr. Dhananjay doing? Who gave him patronage for the last 15 years to prosper, flower, and commit this murderous act? That needs to be found out also. It was the dereliction of duty in allowing this murderous lout to function with his 100-200 boys. Who was responsible? That should be found out too.
Vinita Deshmukh, you want to take that one? You know, because if I take it to Rahul Narvekar or the politicians on the panel, it becomes a political tutu meme. But Vinita Deshmukh, do you want to take that one? That how is it possible? How is it possible for a man who everyone on this panel knows is a crook? Everyone in this panel knows what this person is up to, but such is the might of this individual that while he's in jail, people who belong to his organization are roaming freely on the streets of Pune with hockey sticks, and they end up beating this boy to death.
Exactly. That's precisely my point. What I'm trying to say, everybody knows who's the chief of this criminal act, and yet he is not arrested. Everybody, the police records are there for the last 20 years. That is why I'm appealing, my humble appeal to you also, Chaubeji, is that Mr. Raut was raising a pertinent question that you are alleging something which is not a fact. Whether the Shiv Sena or any other Hindu, Muslim, forget it. I'm saying take this as a very big heinous crime and let governance come in. Don't bring in the new government. Maybe from the top, when the Assam backlash happened, did we accept Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi and Indira Gandhi during the 1970s? It's not the thing about coming from the top.
Right.
When you start making it political, the Pune police are very happy. They are happy to just push it under the carpet. And when I said peaceful city, I meant that there are no religious inflammations in public. So, I just feel that the Pune police has to do its work without any political pressure, and if there is any senior police person who's getting pressurized with any politician, I think the time has come for him to be courageous and resign.
Okay.
This is an incident which is a blot to the nation, and it may become an international story. So please, we want that the culprits must be booked now.
Okay.
And stern action must be taken.
Amir Raza Hussain, the point is that there are some like Mr. Kulkarni who believe that the center must take this incident very, very seriously. Then there are some, as a counterpoint which is being expressed there by Vinita Deshmukh, that when riots took place, say in Muzaffarnagar, we didn't say that Akhilesh Yadav or Mulayam Singh Yadav were Maut Ka Saudagar. Or when riots took place, say in Assam, we didn't ask for the resignation, say, of a Sonia Gandhi, or Rahul Gandhi or Manmohan Singh. Why are we being unfair here to the center when we start leveling allegations or pointing fingers towards the center by suggesting that the center must intervene here, the center must take things seriously? Are we being unfair there, Mr. Hussain?
Yes, you are.
No, I think there is... I don't think anyone can really ask for resignations at the center. It's ludicrous. I mean, you cannot.
But even a statement, is it unfair? Is it unfair? Is it unfair to demand a tweet from Mr. Modi or a statement from Mr. Modi?
It is not unfair. It is not unfair. No, absolutely not. It is not unfair to expect a reaction, any kind of positive reaction that will stem the tide. You see, when, as Mr. Kulkarni called it, the fringe elements of the right wing start taking the law into their hands in this exuberance that there is such a great majority for the BJP government.
I think that salacious innuendo, it's got nothing to do with the BJP's victory.
Necessary.
Do not link this murder to the victory of the BJP. The BJP victory is the victory of people. You are doing salacious innuendo by trying to link it. It's got nothing to do with it. The BJP has nothing to do with the Hindu Rashtra Manch because they're neither Hindu nor they're nationalistic.
What I am saying.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Hussain, finish your point. Finish your point, Mr. Hussain.
No. I don't think he's completely understanding what I'm trying to say.
Go ahead.
I'm saying if there is a message from the top, whether it comes from the Home Minister, whether it comes from the Prime Minister's office, whether it comes from the person of the Prime Minister himself, it will stem any kind of exuberance which may come through from the people who have supported, some of the right-wing fringe who have supported the party into power.
Right.
And that is absolutely necessary.
Because if it comes now,
it will stem it. Otherwise, we might just have...
Aminaz Hossain makes a fair point, which is also being reflected earlier by Sudhindra Kulkarni. It will be that, the magnitude of the victory. I'm not suggesting here. I'm sure. No, none of us are blaming the BJP here. But it's the magnitude of the victory, and sometimes individuals who may have their own interpretations of that victory and therefore may believe that they've got a free run. Therefore, the point of the centre trying to really come down hard. Is the centre really coming down hard? The report has been sought for, yes. But can we expect follow-up action? Can we expect that the centre will really be looking at this very, very closely?
You asked for the report for the first time. You said by Thursday evening, within 24 hours, the Home Minister has asked for the report. Secondly, whether it's an individual or a mob, as long if he's a lunatic fringe element of any denomination, they need to be taken out, identified, booked, prosecuted. It's condemnable. But the fact is, don't link it to this voters' mandate, to the mandate of the people of India, because you've got a big mandate.
Just like I'm asking, Mr. Ilmi Bharat Rao, can I ask you also that Uddhav Thackeray, can I expect a condemnation from Uddhav Thackeray also about what has happened in Pune?
Yeah, but why do you expect Uddhav Thackeray or Shiva BJP?
Sir, you're in Maharashtra.
It has nothing to do with the political.
No, but you're in Maharashtra. Surely you can express some concern, sir.
Yeah, but now on one hand you make allegation that Shiva Sena is involved. On the other hand, you said Uddhav Thackeray should make a statement. What do you want exactly? Another thing is you say that Narendra Modi should take a role in this. Let me tell you, law and order of this nature is the job of the state government.
Now, how many times have I heard that? How many times have I heard that, sir?
Tomorrow, no, let me complete.
Yes.
Tomorrow, if Modi or Rajnath Singh takes action, you people will start shouting, or you are intervening in the opposition states. Why this? Let state government do its job, and then if required, the center will definitely chip in. What is the thing?
I'm saying,
why are you asking on day one?
Yes.
On day one, you are starting attacking the BJP government.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking every politician.
Yeah.
Mr. Raut, I'm asking every politician on the panel. I've asked the BJP. I'm asking Rahul Narvekar. I'm asking you also. It's a straight question. Can I expect a condemnation of what has happened in Pune from your party chief? It's a simple question, sir.
The party has already condemned it, if you must know. Samna has already condemned it. So there is no question of we coming in picture. Why Uddhav Thackeray should chip in every time. Samna has already condemned it. Shiva Sena has condemned it. And there is nobody involved from Shiva Sena in the crime.
Okay. No, it's not. You see, you keep trying to mix the issues. One is not suggesting that your party cadres or karyakartas are involved in the murder, but one is questioning you whether were you not inflaming the passions. That was my point. But Rahul Narvekar, final points to you. Final comment from you, Rahul Narvekar. Since the NCP and the Congress is in part there, Bharat Rao is suggesting that let the state do its job. Is the state really going to do its job? This whole question of political patronage being provided to the accused, is that not a fair perception at all, Rahul?
Well, Bhupen, let me assure you, your fellow panelists, as well as every citizen of this country, the Maharashtra state government will do everything possible and that it is required to do to ensure that people involved, people who are guilty, are taken to task, are booked and punished. Let me tell you, the background of the current Home Minister is absolutely impeccable, and everyone on your panel also knows that he is the last person to get allow any kind of political interference in the police investigation, and therefore let me once again assure you that this issue will be addressed. And we have already, so the question of condemning this issue does not arise because we have already done it and we are making a statement beyond that, that whoever is guilty will be booked and punished. Okay,
whoever is guilty will be booked and punished, but Mr. Ilmi, I must also point out that even those who've been accused and those who've been put behind bars, look, the kind of SMS exchange which was taking place, the first wicket has fallen, the kind of commentary which was taking place, which is why I'm repeatedly asking you, sir, that maybe this is a scenario, maybe this is a story where the centre should indeed do something beyond seeking a report. That's my point,
I'm saying the political parties need to get together, social activists have to get together, it's there on social media. But my friend Rahul Narvekar said about impeccable credentials. Well, the largest number of innocent youth who've been let off by various courts is also in Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. So that's also a reality and a track record of the Maharashtra government.
All I would say in conclusion is I thank all of you for joining me on this edition of India 9 is just this, that this is an issue which needs to be dealt with sternly, but it is an issue which also needs to be dealt with slightly sensitively. You do not require a scenario where, just like we've seen in other states, whether it was Bangalore or Delhi or other parts of the country, where one innocuous SMS exchange or something which comes up on the social media ends up suddenly spiraling itself out of control. But thank you, all of you, for joining me on this edition of India at 9. Hopefully, law enforcing agencies will do their job.